The Economist, the latest issue, and also using this as I had planned, this bandana, we will call it, or buff, but you can use in different ways. And this is a support thin blue line, and here is the blue line, thin blue line, and that's standing for the police, and then criminals, and between there is this thin blue line that should be separate, and the protection. And when I search as a subscriber here at The Economist, I searched for that term, and I found an article in 2010 talking about the situation in New York and how police was working there. So that's something, and it started in, if I was correct, started in England, this term. And here in Sweden, recently, it was that shooting of a policeman by a gang member, you could call it, in an area in Gothenburg, a so-called no-go zone or problematic zone. So then there have been lots of debate about this, and recently it was a debate article in the newspaper Gothenburg Post about the situation for the police and what's have happened with these clans and tribes and gangs that's doing their stuff, bad stuff. So I bought this from the thin blue line in Sweden. So it's like this buff, can be as a protective gear when it's cold and when it's warm, and also like a symbol and a support for the work, the police force. That's the state role, police, defense, and the court system. So I wanted to say that and give my regards, so to speak, to the people on thin blue line working to protect our individual rights. So I talked about how it's going on in Lebanon, and that's one thing when it's leading to chaotic things and almost like anarchy, and also that you have different tribes representing in the power and trying to balance it. So there you could see or how it could lead when it's this unrest. And the question is how it's going on in Sweden right now. I recently was as a guest together with my co-host Blair, the Secular Foxhole, on Aaron Briley's podcast called Culture and Causation, and we talked about racism in Sweden and the United States. And there I got some questions regarding the situation with gangs and people who are not integrated in society and whatnot. So that's what I wanted to say about the situation. And another article to end here short on a lighter note is buzzkill. That word you could wonder about, but alcohol-free beer. And saying once the preserve of the pregnant and the religious, alcohol-free beer is fizzling. So I will read this thoroughly, and then I maybe will have a alcohol-free beer. Do you like alcohol-free beer? Back in the day, it tasted pretty flat, but now it's pretty tasty and good thing. And that's something you could reflect on, the alcohol there, and if you could have it alcohol-free. One of my favorite there is Samuel Adams or Brooklyn Brewery. They have one called Special Effects, and that's alcohol free, and I like that very much. So right now it's very hot here now in Gothenburg, Sweden, more than 25 degrees Celsius. So even in the evening, so I'm drinking sour cherry juice. Cheers. So again, a tribute to the police force and the thin blue line, and talk to you soon again. And on Saturday I will have a tea drinking party, and I see here Pete Bittner from HAPS is saying hi Martin. Hi Peter, and I sent a question to Pablo regarding this having guests on my show. So I want to have my co-host Blair of Secular Foxhole and having guests like that you could have another chat about the podcast episodes and inviting the guest there, and you could have questions from the listeners and so on. So that will be great to test it out with this guest function. So again, Peter Bittner, thanks for saying hi. And how are things in your part of the world? So have you heard about the thin blue line, thin blue line, and the support for the police forces that protect our individual rights? Cool. Please send it to me or contact. Yes, I will do that again. I think Pablo is working on it, and he wanted to check about this delay also and how it's working. But it was the first test, so I will test soon again. And again, I like this service, and I want to continue with it on a regular basis. Again, thanks, Peter, for showing up and saying hi. I appreciate that, and thanks for free listeners, watchers, listeners here right now. And I will come back on Saturday again, talking about some celebration. And yeah, that's something that you could do, Peter, and Pablo, and et al. And company, celebrating your funding there, and looking forward to hear about your future plan. I've talked about that in the past. It would be nice with this different distribution, as now it's going to Facebook Live, it's going to YouTube. I have set up YouTube and Periscope, that's defunct almost, but Twitter also, and Twitch. And I look forward very much when it's possible to distribute it via LinkedIn, because I think it could be interesting target audience there for live streaming. So I, for example, enjoy Chris Brogan and his co-host there very much, their show that they have on LinkedIn. So again, that said, I say thanks for watching, and talk to you soon again. Cheers. And as I said here, if you want any article from The Economist, as I am a subscriber, do a shout out or reach out to me, and I could send up to 5 articles, I think it is, per issue to you for your reading. So bye for now, Peter. Cheers. Bye.